Hi, welcome back. So we're gonna jump into the study portion of it, thing that I'm studying. I'm gonna say again, this is not like a teaching. I'm not teaching you, and anything that I cover in these things, should be met with a level of discernment and own private research. So when I go through this, I'm gonna give my I'm going to be reading from the Bible, but I encourage you to, on your own, go through it and see if you agree or you don't, and maybe we can have a discussion about it sometime if you have a different opinion or whatever. But yeah. So this one is what I kind of just titled, like, what/who is wisdom? Because one thing that, like, appeals to me is kind of like the story of Solomon. For those of you who don't know who Solomon is, it's King David's son. Yeah, this is an Old Testament time. I believe it's in Kings. And Solomon had like a dream, or he was given the opportunity. Like, God asked him, like, I could give you wisdom, I could give you knowledge, I can give you power, I can give you riches, and what would you choose? And Solomon's like, wisdom. And through wisdom, he got power and riches anyway. And not only that, but like, personally speaking, like, intelligence and wisdom always just kind of appealed to me, and just like pursuit of knowledge. And I have a psychological background. Like, I went to school and college, and I do enjoy like science and the discovery, because to me science is like the discovery of how God did things. Like, and I'm talking about like true science. Like, I think it's very interesting to learn how God like built the planet and our psychology and how he built us. So like knowledge and stuff like that has always appealed to me. And but wisdom has always been this thing that, because intelligence isn't wisdom. And what is the difference? Like, if I were to ask you, like, what is wisdom, what would you say? Because I thought about that same question I asked myself, and I was like, intelligent, maybe resourcefulness, logic. It always came out with like 1,000 words. It was like, it's almost like wisdom is like the accumulation of multiple intellectual like behaviors. Intellectual. So yeah. Anyway, I was like, okay, well, what does the Bible say about this? And I came across this proverb in chapter 8 that I think it answers all those questions. After reading this, so I'm gonna go through the verses and give kind of like a slight commentary on what like I think about the verses, and then at the very end I'm gonna summarize everything, because it's a lot to summarize actually, and it's only like, I don't know, like 40 verses. Yeah, 36. So I just lost my place. In 36 verses, it kind of lays it all out. It covers the characteristics of wisdom. It covers what wisdom hates. It covers what the fruit of wisdom bears and how to find wisdom. So that's pretty much all you need to know. What is wisdom? What it doesn't like? What is it? What's the rewards of wisdom? How do you find wisdom? So all in this. So let's break it down, right? Wisdom's call. And for context, the leading theory is that this was written by King Solomon. So that's who the author is. Does not wisdom cry out, and understanding lift up her voice? So understanding lifts up wisdom. She takes her stand on the top of the high hill, beside the way where the paths meet. So to me, what that's saying is, like, in life, like, you have crossroads. You have times when like a path in your life comes and there's like multiple paths you can take, and it's saying that like wisdom is on a high hill looking at the paths where they meet. So it's like wisdom's beside your choices and is like observing both choices and is like really analyzing it from like a high position, like, you know, from a high vantage point. She cries out by the gates, at the entry of the city, at the entrance of the doors. To you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men. So this is to me saying that like she's knocking at your gate, she's knocking at your door. She wants to enter your city, your house, and she's calling for you. Oh, you simple ones, understand prudence. Now this is like one of those times when I'm like, okay, I use prudence from time to time. It means like cautious or whatever, but let me just make sure we're on the same page here. Prudence. Prudence means like cautiousness, especially on important matters. So like, oh, you simple ones, understand cautiousness. And you fools, be of an understanding heart. So what an understanding heart means to me is like empathy, like be understanding to people. So be cautious and understanding. Listen, for I will speak of excellent things, and from the opening of my lips will come right things, for my mouth will speak truth. So like, wisdom is righteous and truth bearing. Wickedness is an abomination to my lips. She's for righteousness, against bad stuff. All the words of my mouth are with righteousness. Nothing crooked or perverse is in them. So like perverse or crooked speech, like wisdom ain't there. They are all plain to him who understands, and right to those who find knowledge. They are all plain to him who understands. So like the words are plain to the person who understands, I think is what it's saying. And right to those who find knowledge. The words are right to those who find knowledge, because the subject has been words right here, right? Receive my instruction, and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things one may desire cannot be compared with her. So a couple of things I want to say. First of all, obviously it's saying that wisdom is more valuable than like anything tangibly valuable that you can think of. Gold, silver, rubies. And this is it literally saying everything that you may desire does not compare with wisdom. And another thing I want to point out is it says her. Like from the very beginning, it's like it's personifying wisdom as a her. She takes her stand, lift up her voice. And like so far, like it's kind of like, because like I think most people think of wisdom as like as a behavior or like an attribute of like your intelligence, like, oh, this person's wise. It's like a descriptor. But this is saying that like it's a her, and it's symbolizing like she's saying these words and speaking to the audience. So I find that very interesting, and why I also title this kind of like what/who is wisdom. Like is wisdom a her? And this isn't the only place in the Bible either that like wisdom kind of speaks. And as we go forward in the rest of these verses, it's like really like saying like it's a her. But I find that interesting. Wisdom might be like an entity of, you know, God's kingdom. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge and discretion. So again, we have this cautiousness, we have knowledge and discretion, which is like good judgment, I believe. Yeah, I think, yeah, I can look it up too, but I wrote it down. But discretion is like, you don't like say stuff you shouldn't say, like you don't tell secrets, and like you don't like say anything that causes offense. Yeah, avoid causing offense and revealing private information. So like it's really like somebody who thinks about what they're gonna say. Yeah, I'm gonna write that down real quick. Sorry if the music was a little annoying, I just turned it off. So where are we? 12. So 13, the fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogance and the evil way, and the perverse mouth I hate. So like you read the Bible, and a lot of times it'll say like the fear of the Lord, the fear of the Lord. Here it's literally saying the fear of the Lord is to hate evil. So like hating pride and arrogance is the fear of the Lord, is what this is saying. And wisdom hates a perverse mouth. Again, we see. So arrogant. I mean, wisdom hates arrogance, pride, and perverse mouth. Evil in general. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength. So counsel. So wisdom's with counsel. By me, kings reign, and rulers decree justice. So, like, what is a king? A king is a powerful regent of a land. Wisdom kind of lets that happen. Lets you have power, and people who rule have wisdom. They should, or at least they should. And rulers decree justice, so it's all wisdom and justice are also intertwined. By me, princes rule and nobles, all the judges of the earth. So again, here's the nobility factor that like if you're gonna be a ruler or somebody in these high positions, you're gonna need wisdom, because I mean, a prince, there are other princes. So like when it comes to like princes, like who's the next king, like you might think they like compete. Well, it's like by me, certain princes rule. So like whichever prince is wise is the one that's going to be the next king, kind of thing. I think this was what this means. And like nobles and the judges of the earth. So again, that justice element, that wisdom is to enact justice, you need wisdom. Okay. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently will find me. So if you look for wisdom, you'll find her. If you love her, she loves you. Riches and honor are with me, enduring riches and righteousness. Pretty straightforward. Enduring riches, not temporary, and like a position. My fruit is better than gold, yes, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver. So again, saying that like the fruit of wisdom is better than anything you can desire tangibly. I transverse the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of justice. So again, righteous and is on the paths of justice. Then I may cause those who love me to inherit wealth, that I may fill their treasuries. So again, wisdom bestows wealth. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way, before his works of old. So wisdom goes way back. I have been established from everlasting, from the beginning, before there was ever an earth. So she goes way back. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with water. So like before the earth, before the mountains were settled, before the hills, I was brought forth. She's born before it all. While as yet he had not made the earth or the fields or the primal dust of the world. Now I'm going to look up primal real quick. Early stage in evolution, development. So it was like early stages of development. Where are we? Okay. 27. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. So she was even before the heavens. She's before heaven and earth. When he drew a circle on the face of the deep, like the oceans, and he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he assigned the sea its limits, so that the waters would not transgress his command. That's interesting, and this something else just dawned on me that I didn't think of before. If for those of you who don't know, in the book of Revelation, the waters is referred to as like the people, and I don't know if that would apply here too, but just for the sake of like food for thought, so the let's just switch out waters with people, so the people would not transgress his command, set the sea its limit. I think most likely this is literally just talking about like the water, not necessarily people, based off of the type of stuff he's talking about. He's like, I was here before the heavens, she was here before the heavens, I was here before the earth, I was here before they made the sea. I think regardless, even if it's talking about people, I think it makes the same point. Then I was beside him as a master crafts. Then I was beside him as a master craftsman, and I was daily his delight. So wisdom is a part of creation. Like she's a master craftsman. Like was used to build heaven and earth, and she's a master craftsman. And God delights in wisdom, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in his inhabited world. And my delight was the sons of men. So wisdom is, let me back up. So the sons of men are wisdom's delight, and wisdom is the delight of God. Now therefore listen to me, my children, for blessed are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise. Hear instruction, another characteristic. Like be willing to be taught, and do not disdain it. Don't disdain instruction. I think it's common, especially as one gets older, to kind of like be set in your ways and be like, all right, who's this? What's this kid gonna teach me? Or like, what do you think you know? And you kind of build like this like pride almost. And I think this is kind of like what it's saying. Like, don't disdain instruction, because like what disdain literally means. The feeling that something or someone is unworthy of one's consideration or respect, contempt. So yeah, if you're like, because sometimes maybe a kid says something and you're like an older guy or whatever, and you're just like, oh, he's totally right, but like you kind of hate it because it's coming from whoever it's coming from, and all the different forms of it. So it's like, dude, just listen to instruction and counsel. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my door. So in the beginning, wisdom was knocking at your door. It's saying, blessed is those that are like waiting at wisdom's door. For whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. So you want favor from the Lord? Find wisdom. You want life? Find wisdom. But he who sins against me wrongs his own soul, and all those who hate me love death. That's a heavy last sentence too, because we know, for those of you who don't know, death is one of like the attributes of Satan and stuff, and obviously it's the opposite of everlasting life. So like if you hate wisdom, you know, you love death. Put that together, and you're like sinning against your own soul. Yeah. Okay, so every single line here is juicy. It has nugget. Like if you're trying to answer the question, who is wisdom, where is wisdom, how do I find wisdom, what are the fruits of wisdom, every single sentence here just like gives you something. So I kind of like summarized it. So starting off with like the characteristics of wisdom, I got cautiousness, observant, avoids offense, is trustworthy, thinks before you speak, empathy, I already said, no I didn't, truthfulness, welcomes counsel and instruction, is a master crafter. So like that's characteristic, like could be used in creating things. Righteous, seeks justice, and in this case is a she. So when we initially asked the question like what is wisdom, it's literally like a word that sums up like so many different attributes. So also when you define something, it's like, okay, this is what it is, but this is also what it isn't. So like what isn't, how do I say this? What isn't wisdom? So what is wisdom? What does wisdom hate? I'm getting tongue twisted. So I put down pride, arrogance, perversion, and bad speech. Those were all clearly stated to me when I read all that. So if you're proud, wisdom's not a fan. Arrogant, perverse, bad speech, clean your mouth up. And if you think about it, the opposites of the characteristics mentioned, like not truthful, lying and stuff like that, all that different forms of like perversion. Okay, so characteristics, what wisdom hates. What is the fruit that wisdom bears? So I put down power, long-term wealth, and this also plays into when I was talking about Solomon in, I think it's First Kings 3. That's when Solomon chooses wisdom. Oop, and consequently gets like power. And if you think of Solomon, was the most powerful, wisest, and like richest king of those, maybe even ever. Definitely those times. Another thing, a fruit is status, life, God's favor, creation, because she was used to create the heaven and the earth. So if you have wisdom, like, you have that. One of the fruits is creation with her. The fruit of wisdom is greater than all you can desire, because she's saying that, like, literally anything you can desire, wisdom is better than. And also kind of throwing in there like knowing right from wrong, because right, if you have all of those kind of things and you're not trying to be prideful and do all the things that she doesn't like you kind of understand right from wrong at that point. So how do you find wisdom? Well, dwells with prudence, discipline, those who use reason, are careful and judicious. A good sense and judgment. So if you want to find I'm not done. She's on the path of righteousness and justice, and avoid what she hates. So if you want to find wisdom, you want to first of all not go where she's not. So based off of the things that we identified as what she hates, don't do that stuff, obviously, and go far from it. Go to the opposite. And then the path of righteousness, so be righteous, be justice, knock at her door, be disciplined, use reason, be careful, being judicious. Like, the more you try and do all of those things, the more you welcome wisdom into your life. Behaviors and your choices is like what lets wisdom in. And then I have like a final note, like, wisdom is looking for you and waits for you to open the door. If you give wisdom pleasure, she gives pleasure to God. Because remember I was saying that, like, wisdom gives God pleasure and you give wisdom pleasure. So it's like, if you give wisdom pleasure, you're giving God pleasure. And that's where it kind of says, like, you're get favor from God from being wise. So it sounds good to me. So yeah, that's my thing on wisdom here. Identifying what is wisdom, what are her characteristics, what aren't her characteristics, what is the rewards or fruitfulness from wisdom, and then how do you find wisdom. So anyway, I thought that was very interesting. Put that together the other day, and this one chapter just like literally covers all of that. And there's other like, I think literally like chapter 9 starts off with wisdom. So especially in Proverbs, that's pretty much the story behind Proverbs, is a bunch of these like wise teachings. But this 136 verse chapter pretty much covers who, what, when, where, how to find, like, all written up like that. So hope that was interesting. Feel free to share your comments. Maybe there's more to it that I'm missing. Maybe you disagree. Welcome it all. Catch you next time. Stay blessed. Stay righteous. Catch you later.